Petco Park, a new beginning, let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padre gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, that.
And good day, everybody. Welcome to the Padres versus Pirates pregame show for May 28th, 2022. I'm your host, Ben Fadden. I am back home. I went 3 straight games doing the pregame show live from Petco Park. Not going to tonight's game. I will be going to tomorrow's game. But for tonight's game, I think there's the fireworks show, and so they pushed back the game from 6:40, like it usually has been this year, to like 7:10. As you can see, my new backdrop for at least tonight, because Joe Musgrove's on the mound. I got the Joe Musgrove towel that I picked up last night at the game. Last night, it felt like the only towels that anyone wanted were the Joe Musgrove towels. Like, they sold out. Well, not sold out because you weren't really buying the towels, you were buying the ticket. It was the giveaway. But you get what I'm saying. They ran out of the towels. Pay the man, as Manny would say. And Anthony, yes, Manny's not in the lineup. Kevin Acee said that it's being described as a minor ailment. That gives me nothing. That gives fans nothing. There's no really point in putting that out there if you don't know what exactly the ailment is. So that kind of doesn't make sense to me. What's a minor ailment? Is it a minor ailment to fans, or is it a minor ailment to Manny or to the Padres? Like, how really minor is it? Manny doesn't usually take days off in the middle of series. Usually when you see him have a day off, he DHs. You don't just take him out of the lineup, right? That Atlanta series, I think it was the Sunday game. Was it the Sunday game? Or maybe the Saturday game? It might have been the Sunday game where he didn't start, but then he came in and pinch hit. So maybe he pinch hits here and just takes all of the fans' worries out of it. With that said, I'm not really worried about it. I don't think that it's much to worry about. I hope that what Kevin Acee is saying is that it's a minor ailment to Manny. Like, that's what he thinks it is. And he's back in the lineup tomorrow. Because it's kind of weird just to see Manny not be in the lineup in the middle of the series. So Kevin Acee just said Manny just walked into the clubhouse. This literally just came up on my phone here. Walked into the clubhouse. He's smiling. Took a shot in the tiny basketball hoop. He's walking like he usually walks, carried a bag, joking around. Carry on is what Kevin said. So just not in the lineup with a minor ailment. So I would think that he'd be available off the bench in a pinch hit role. That would be my guess. But yeah, so a minor ailment. I hope it's a minor ailment because, as we've seen with this offense, it's not great when Manny's not hitting, right? Or when Manny and Haas aren't hitting. It's not great. So that's the big news today going into tonight's game at 7:10. Manny not in the lineup, a minor ailment. We'll see where that goes. He's smiling, seems like everything's well in the Padres clubhouse right now, according to Kevin Acee. And so we'll see where that takes us. As for tonight's game, Pirates are 18-26 entering tonight's game after that loss that they had to the Padres last night. Luke Voit came through with that big 3-run home run to tie the game after the terrible fourth inning. Just terrible, terrible, terrible fourth inning. Myers popped out. Voit struck out. Manny gets caught napping at second base, doesn't even dive back into second. And I love Manny, but he deserves criticism for that. And I pretty much guarantee you that that's not going to happen at all the rest of the season. And then the Padres 29-16 after that win last night. This is a sweepable series. You got Musgrove going tonight. You got Mackenzie Gore going tomorrow. So it's a series I think you should sweep, especially after last night's win. Like, it seems like last night should be the toughest game of this series, especially when you're down 3-0 and you come back and win. And you got Joe Musgrove, who's had a quality start every single start that he's had this season. The team has won every start that he's had this season. So you feel like you're going to win tonight. Baseball's baseball, though. So as I say this, a few hours from now, game starts and they're going to end up losing, right? That's just the way the baseball goes. But I definitely feel like this is a game the Padres will win. And then Gore tomorrow, that's another game that you think that they would win. You'd think that because it's a minor ailment that Manny Machado would be back in the lineup. But we'll see. You just don't really know. Manaea had his 8th quality start of the season last night. He's had 9 starts, so only one of those was not a quality start, and that was the Dodger game, I believe, where he gave up those bunch of those home runs. I think Bellinger and Freeman got to him. Then as for tonight, JT Brubaker on the mound for the Pirates, Joe Musgrove, obviously for the Padres. I have the Musgrove giveaway from last night behind me. Musgrove enters tonight with a 1.90 ERA. Last time out against the Pirates was earlier this year in April, I believe. 7 innings, gave up 1 earned run, so a really good start. And then Brubaker, he has a 4.64 ERA going into tonight. Unlike Jose Quintana, I think this is where the Padres, they'll be able to get to him tonight instead of having to get to the bullpen, right? Like they did last night against Quintana. Like, I felt like that might have kind of been the game plan, like just kind of survive. I know they had that big chance in the 4th inning and they did get some base runners, but at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, let's get to the bullpen. Jose Quintana had an ERA under 3. That's not the case with Brubaker. He's given up a run in every single start but one, which was his last start, which I believe was at home against the Rockies. He gave up 3 runs in 5 innings in his last start against the Padres, which was April 30th at PNC Park. Hosmer took him yard opposite field in that game. You might remember that game. I think Manny homered later in that game as well to dead center. They ended up, I think, losing that game. I think that was the Saturday night game where Hos made that error, and they end up losing that game. So yeah, so that's the pitching matchup. As for the bullpen situation for tonight, let's see. Rogers pitched last night. Chris Matt pitched last night. Pitched a good 8th inning. Shut him out. His ERA's like under 1.2, I think, right now. Something crazy like that. Rogers 11 pitches with the save, his 17th, I think, of the year. Chris Matt with the hold, 16 pitches. So I would think that everyone's available, including Chris Matt and Rogers. Maybe you save Stammen for tomorrow if Gore doesn't go long. But everyone else should be available. Let's say Musgrove goes 6 innings, 7 innings. And then you could go to Garcia if you want. I think he was warming up at some point last night. I saw that. I was at the game, so I peeked over. I think I saw him warm up. I saw him warm up once. It might have been only for a few pitches. So they're probably intending to use him maybe tonight. Suarez ready. Everyone. Because we know Rogers can go back-to-back days. We know Chris Matt probably could go back-to-back days when he only threw 16 pitches yesterday. So not much to talk about in terms of the bullpen situation. Looks like everyone's going to be available there. And then last time I checked, the Pirates lineup was not out yet. So for the Padres lineup, though, Manny obviously not in it. I'll get to that comment that I see about Manny and what he was wearing last night. But Profar leading off. I don't really know what I'd still rather have Jake lead off there. I don't know what I really think about Profar there. Kim hitting second. There's no Manny. Hosmer third. It pretty much moves everyone up. Chronoworth was hitting 6th last night. He got a hit in his first at bat. Haas hitting third, Voit hitting fourth, DHing after the homer last night. Myers hitting sixth. Yeah, Crony hitting fifth, obviously. Nola hitting seventh as the catcher, catching Musgrove, and then Grisham in the lineup against a right-hander and JT Brubaker. He's hitting eighth, and then Sergio Alcantara is hitting ninth. He is the starting shortstop. So that's what happens when Manny's not in the lineup. Usually you have Chronoworth go and slide it over to shortstop, and you have Kim play second. Or excuse me, you have Kim play third. You have Cano play second, and then you have Hosmer play first. But they don't have Cano in the lineup, which is kind of surprising to me. You'd rather have Sergio Alcantara in the lineup than Robinson Cano. I wouldn't, but that's the way that they're going. So I disagree with the lineup in that sense. Everything else, I mean, I'd rather have Cronenworth lead off than Profar. Um, Everything else, I mean, it's pretty predictable because everyone else slides up. Grisham, obviously a lefty against a righty, so he's in there over Alcantara. I think Alcantara should be starting games over Grisham. I said that in episode 172, which is out on the podcast platforms and on YouTube right now, that I did before the game yesterday, and just comparing Sergio Alcantara's and not Alcantara, um, Grisham and Azokar's stats, and I think Azokar deserves it more than Grisham right now. Um, and then yeah, Alcantara, I don't really agree having him start games. I think Cano should be in there over Alcantara. You just slide Crony over to short, but that's not what they're doing. So that's the Padres lineup. Eddie here says that Manny was wearing a tendonitis band. I've never heard what I don't know what a tendonitis band is, but okay. He was wearing one on his elbow last night. Not sure if he always wears that. If so, I haven't noticed. Uh, I did not notice that. Was that on the broadcast? Tendonitis band. So you saw it through his pants, or was it on his arm? Because I'm just looking at tendonitis band. It looks like you can put it on your leg and your arm. So I have no idea. That doesn't really do much unless you saw. What did you see? If you saw the band in his leg, okay, maybe it's a shin. But if it's on his arm, that is it on his throwing arm? Like that just opens up a lot of a can of worms, if you will, you know? So Eddie, get or anyone that was watching on TV, if they showed it on TV, I would have thought that someone would have said that. I okay, Eddie says he was wearing it underneath his white undershirt. On his throwing arm or his glove arm? So his throwing arm, the right elbow, okay. I did not see that. Well, I mean, he essentially hit a home run yesterday. He then the next pitch or the pitch before that, he hit a double that was foul, then the home run that was foul. Um, he made a good play defensively. Didn't seem like there was anything wrong with him. Yeah, okay. So it's coming out now. Reporters talking to Bob Melvin, tennis elbow. So Manny is day to day. Manny lobbied to play today, but the coaching staff preferred to rest him today. That's what reporters are saying. He's had it for a few days, but they're resting him today. Nick Martinez starting on Monday, Bob Melvin just said. So that's the new series against the Cardinals, I want to say. Is that Monday, Tuesday? All right. So just came in, tennis elbow. Eddie was kind of hinting at that with the tendonitis band that he wore on his elbow last night. I did not see that. I was at the game, so I was kind of far away from him. But tennis elbow, okay. Let me look what that is. Tennis elbow causes pain on the outside of the elbow. So maybe that's swinging too much. And if Eddie said it was on his throwing arm, is it just throwing too much? Or because the swing, I don't think you'd really have, I don't think you'd feel it on the outside. Okay, it says painful condition is tennis elbow that occurs when tendons in your elbow are overloaded, usually by repetitive motions of the wrist and arm. And how do you get tennis elbow to go away? It says rest, pain relievers, ice, apply ice or a cold pack for 15 minutes, 3 to 4 times a day. So that's probably what Manny's doing. Resting, obviously, today, and then the ice. All right. So it doesn't seem like that it's like anything to worry about. Just looking it up. And Manny's obviously a lot tougher than us, right? So that's not surprising that he's been dealing with it for a few days and he pretty much hit a home run last night. It was foul, but he hit a home run last night, essentially. Made a great play in the field. He seemed good. So he's dealing with some tennis elbow. And then Nick Martinez starting on Sunday or Monday. Gore is starting tomorrow. Musgrove tonight. Some of my what to watch for is Musgrove's quality start streak. He's had a quality start every single start this season. Will that continue? Can the Padres hit another home run tonight? They went a good period of time without hitting a home run. Voit obviously came through yesterday. That probably wasn't the guy I would pick. I don't think he would homer again tonight. It seems like okay, so he hit 2 bombs in one game on what was that? May 11th, the day I came back to San Diego. He then hits one again May 27th yesterday. So he went, if you start opening day, 1, 2, 3, 4. He went like 5 weeks before his first home run. And then he went like 2.5 weeks before his third home run. And he hit his first two home runs came on the same day. So he went 5 weeks before hitting one home run, 2.5 weeks before hitting another home run in a separate game. So he goes long periods of times, and it's striking out, it's walking, or it's hitting a home run. That's what it is. So he was on pace, I think, going into yesterday. What? We're a fourth of the way into the season. So he had 2 home runs. So he was on pace for like 8 bombs this year. Terrible. When you're known for hitting home runs, you're supposed to come in here as the DH, as the power hitter, and that's what you're doing. Not great. But nonetheless, it obviously was great to see Voit come through last night. Obviously, they wouldn't have won without it. And Yusef says Voit needs to homer once per series. That's not going to happen. He'll strike out probably once per series, once a game per series. He's not hitting a home run per series. And then another thing, what to watch for me, I guess, is the Manny pinch hit appearance. Maybe if it's a possibility. Dealing with the tennis elbow, I don't know if it's when he swings it hurts or if when he throws it hurts or what. So maybe he's able to have a pinch hit at bat. Let's say it's the ninth inning. They're down by a run. You got 2 runners, second and third, and Sergio Alcantara's up. You pinch hit for him. Maybe that's where they go. I don't know. I would think that you have Cano on the bench, so you'd think that they just give Manny the entire day off, but I know that Manny, he wants to contribute in some way. If he can't play the field, if they want to give him a day off, he's like that Atlanta game last was that last weekend? No, couple weekends ago. Um, he had the day off, but then he came in and pinch hit. So they intentionally walked him and he dived back and forth at first base. But you get my point is he doesn't like missing games. So I still think it's a possibility that he pinch hits. I haven't seen anything. If a reporter has asked Bomel if, hey, is Manny going to be available tonight? Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Just says Melvin says Manny is day to day. I don't know. I just feel like Manny might go up to Bomel in a situation that matters and say, hey, I'm good to go. Give me this at bat. Then I'll take the rest of the day off. All right, my Padre pick. Yesterday, I picked Jake Cronenworth. He went 1 for 3. I thought he'd be a little irritated that Bomel put him 6th in the batting order, which was the lowest that he'd been in the lineup the entire season. He hit 6 like 18 times last year, but he is 5th tonight. I'm not picking him tonight. I'm 28-12 so far this season in my pregame show Padre pick. The one Padre I think will get a hit if I had to pick one guy. Today I'm going to go Eric Hosmer. I think when I looked, he has pretty good stats off of Brubaker. He obviously had the home run. He's hitting 500 off of Brubaker in his career. I think he has like 4 at bats. He hit the home run last time. So I'm going to go with Hos tonight. All right. Before we get out of here, any more questions, comments? Yusef says, what was Voit expected to hit coming in? 25 this year? Probably somewhere around that. I think Padre fans, including myself, were probably dreaming, to be honest. I don't know if that's really accurate of how many the Padres expected him to have, because you always have to count the injuries, right? And he was on the IL a little bit this year already. Irie says, seems when Myers goes 1 for 4, that one hit is a game changer, just like last night. Yeah. And then it seems like the rest of the at-bats, he's swinging for the fences and there's strikeouts and there's a bunch of whiffs. Kind of like Voit, right? Crone is fine now because of his defense, but once Tatis is back, Kim to second if Chronoworth doesn't start hitting, Yusef says. I think they'll think about it, but I just don't think Chronoworth's going to not hit the entire year. And he's not going to hit. He's going to continue not hitting like this till the end of June. I don't think that's the case. I believe in Cronenworth too much to think that he's not going to hit until Tatis comes back, all the way through Tatis not coming back. We just saw too much from last year and the year before that. Irie says AJ needs to make a move on Trent. I think that's too early. Who are your other options in the outfield? Brian Reynolds is in the wrong uniform, Irie says. You could say that, but I would say that he's in the right uniform for what the Pirates' asking price was. They asked for Abrams and Gore. They're not giving up Abrams and Gore and probably someone else for Brian Reynolds. Sorry, I'm not going to do that. When I have Robert Hassel III in my farm system coming up next year, and I have James Wood in my farm system and all that, and I have CJ Abrams as an outfield option probably next year. I'm not going to do that. Brian Reynolds is a good player, but I'm not going to give up Gore, who's going to be a big part of the rotation next year because they're probably not going to keep Musgrove, Clev, and Mania, all of them. And Martinez might leave in free agency because he has a player option after every year of his contract. So the rotation could look a lot different. So Gore's going to need to be a huge part of that. You have him under control for 5 more years after this. I'm not giving him up. especially when he's turned the corner and he's looked like the Mackenzie Gore that we thought he was going to be. Um, Tatis is not batting yet, Alex. He is not. He was fielding grounders today from Matt Williams. He was just rolling grounders to him, and he was fielding them and then throwing it to first. That's the extent it feels like of what he's doing right now. Irie says, "You think they would have to give up Gore for rentals? I don't think we have a lot of prospects down there. I think is what Irie's saying. No, you're not giving up Gore for a rental. In terms of a 1-year rental, you're not giving Gore up for that. I wouldn't give up Gore. I mean, I'd seriously think about even giving up Gore for Juan Soto, and that might sound dumb because Juan Soto is amazing, but they just don't have a lot of starting pitching after this season. Like things, you just think of the nightmare scenario, and Gore you have for 5 more years, and he's the rookie of the year right now. I'm not going to give the guy up when you're not paying him anything. And Juan Soto could leave after these next 2 years. And yeah, Juan Soto's great, but I'm not going to give up Gore. It would be one thing if they're asking for like James Wood. I would think about it. Joshua Mears, yes, but not your top pitching prospect who is pitching well right now in a stacked rotation. All right, some MLB news and notes here before I get out of here. Um, Colorado's up 2-1 on the Nationals right now. Dodgers 1-0. Mookie Betts has already homered against the Diamondbacks. Other National League West action, that was it, right? San Francisco lost to Cincinnati today. Tommy Pham suspended. I'll get that in an episode. Just some dumb stuff that happened in Cincinnati and San Francisco, or between Cincinnati and San Francisco. Jock Peterson and Tommy Pham fighting over a little bit more than fantasy football. I'll leave it at that. Dallas Keuchel was designated for assignment today by the White Sox. He had an ERA like over 7. They owe him, I think, $16 million this year. I think I saw that somewhere. Michael Harris was called up by the Braves. He's got his first major league hit. He got that off of Sergio Alcantara. That's pretty much the news so far. I do think the Padres will win today. Ant, to answer that question, yes. Joe Musgrove's on the mound. That's why. I don't know what the offense is going to do, but they're facing a worse starting pitcher than Cantana that they faced yesterday. They got their best starter on the mound, who's had a quality start every single start this season. They've won every game that he's pitched, and it just seems like they do win. I know they don't have Manny in the lineup, but you got Joe Musgrove on the mound. You got a bullpen that's ready to go. And I know the bullpen's been up and down, but Rodgers should be available for a save back-to-back nights. You got Chris Matt probably available. I think I trust Steven Wilson. I know some people might not, but I still do. So I think they're in a good position to win tonight. All right, I think that's going to do it. The Padres Pirates pregame show for May 28, 2022. First pitch is at 7:10. Valley Sports San Diego, 97.3 The Fan. Post-game reaction after every game, as always, on the YouTube channel, at Talking Friars, on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok for in-game highlights for games that I'm not at, which is one of those. So I will be clipping some in-game highlights today. And I hope you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Got over 700 subscribers, trying to work my way up to 1,000. Daily Padres content during the season, not during the season. I hope you guys hit that subscribe button if you have not already. All right. See you, everybody.